Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 show to bring you all things Club America and English.
Oh, what a strike! Club America!
Your hosts for today are Ivan Pineda, Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Go! Now let's hit the field and start the show.
America!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. Apologies for our 1 week hiatus. That is going to be on me for that. I was over in Oakland traveling, and because of work, we weren't able to situate all this together. But I do apologize for that because we didn't even send out a tweet or anything. That was all on me. Again, my apologies, but we're back. We're going to be recapping everything that happened in the Estadio Azteca against Necaxa. We're going to be previewing the upcoming match against our rivals in the CONCACAF Champions League. That's right. CCL Fever is back, baby. And then, of course, we're going to be previewing the game against Tigres. And, what more can we say? A lot of American news to be talked about in this episode. And as always, joining me today, it is none other than young Arnie himself. It is Brooklyn's very own AJ. AJ, how are you, my friend?
Doing good. It's been a while since we last podcast, and I do miss it, but it was scary for me last time because I had to host it all by myself. But hey, it's all part of the experience, but doing good. Did my Pilates, did my aerobic training, feeling good today.
Feeling good, looking good, ready to talk about all things that are good for Las Águilas del América here. And we might as well just recap what happened prior to the Necaxa game because we didn't really preview that one. But it was Mazatlán. Let's just quickly go over that. I mean, it's a little bit lost in translation because it is a little bit further out in the distance, but I would say that, it wasn't the most convincing game from America. We knew that they had to come in and do kind of like stamp their authority after that 3-0 victory against Chivas. They go into Mazatlán. We don't look our greatest, but maybe it could be because it was a quick turnaround. Obviously, you're on a cloud 9 situation after beating your rivals 3-0 at their home stadium. Then you go into Mazatlán, a second road game in a row as well to be taken into consideration. We win off an own goal, 1-0. I mean, really the narrative is going to be that Mazatlán shot themselves in the foot, and we just kind of took advantage of that. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points, and we continue to scale the table.
Yeah, no, but all in all, it wasn't Solari's best game, but he did his Solari magic. He ended up making Mazatlán score an own goal, and I will take that any day. I wish we could have scored more goals, but a goal's a goal, and 3 points is all that matters at the end of the day.
No, definitely. I think that's the most important part to take away is that, America then again accumulated 3 points. And because of that, the international break was, I think, did us some pretty good stuff. Got some rest in there. Unfortunately, our star striker does end up getting injured in the Mexican national team. Henry, of course, being out for Necaxa and for this upcoming match against Olimpia. And then we'll see whether or not he's available for Saturday's match against Tigres. I think that's going to be one of those things where it's just kind of, take it day by day and see what happens. Obviously, he didn't travel with the squad, and who knows? We'll see what happens, AJ. But let's talk Necaxa. Let's talk America versus Necaxa. This was a matchup that I think all of us on paper were thinking, well, this should be a walk in the park for America. But as always, this has never been a walk in. The only walk in the park game we've ever had was that Chivas game. Aside from that, everything else has always been not so much walking in the park. I mean, just kind of give me your overall thoughts in regards to this game. America wins it 1-0, 3 points at the end of the day in the Estadio Azteca. No, sorry, 2-1. But again, it's only a 1-goal margin here. What are your takeaways from this match?
Scary, but once again, Solari doing his thing, working his magic. I was worried in the first half because that first half was not great. It felt like it was just the beginning of the tale of two halves once again. We let Martin Barregan, out of all players that we could have scored that we got scored on, it had to be by him. It worried me. But Richard Sanchez came to the rescue with that amazing free kick, top bins, and Giovanni Dos Santos, out of all people, he ends up soaring high in the sky, heading it. He probably looked at Roy, he's like, that's how you finish it. That's how you finish a header. I think he secured a contract at that point, like you mentioned. We were talking, he secured that contract now, maybe for another season. I think, but all in all, it was great. But the way we conceded that goal, though, it just should have not have happened. Just Jorge Sanchez and Emma Aguilera, it just did not look great. Just it felt like that left hand side they just allowed every Necaxa player to just go there for free and try to set a cross up. But all in all, not the greatest America game, but hey, it's another 3 points, and I can never go wrong with that.
Yeah, I think we continue to scale the table, like I said, and we continue to kind of, somewhat have a sense of form coming into the Ligia, because obviously we're at the, latter end of the season, where we're about what 4 games left in the season before we call it a wrap before playoffs kick in. But again, like you mentioned, we're not content with the performance, but we are content with the results. If that makes any sense to anyone listening out there, I think it's the perfect way to kind of summarize everything. Could have been a better game. I think that it was quite a dull game, to be honest. AJ, I don't know if you agree with me. I mean, not to say that not a lot was happening, but it felt like it was a lot of disrupting play. Necaxa were definitely hitting us a little bit more, trying to kind of disrupt the play. They did as well as they could to hold their shape, which I think made it difficult for us to kind of break them down. But overall, I think that it was a pretty good, entertaining game in regards to the tactic aspect of it all, which I think Solari again one-ups Memo Vasquez in this one. And so, it goes to show that we chose the right manager, because I've said it here time and time again. If America would have Memo Vasquez, this podcast would have been over. It would not have podcasted ever again. I would give a faith and hope on all things that I love. But it was nice to see that Solari, at the end of the day, some of the moves a little questionable, but, we walk over the 3 points. And I mean, you can't really discredit that. So at least on that aspect, we have something there. But Chris saying, don't forget the friendly against Monterrey. I don't really want to talk about that, because that was not a game that anyone should have watched, even if you were at the stadium.
Look, you said don't forget. The key word, forget. Yeah, I want to forget about that friendly, because even with some plays that we had, it just was bad. And Oscar Jimenez, man, I don't know what's going on with him.
Oh, but everyone wanted to say Oscar this, Oscar that, right? But
I mean, back then, yeah, but now it's all Ochoa. They used to call Oscar Jimenez Ochoita. Now he's just Oscar Jimenez. That's it.
Now he's just Oscar. He's not even Oscar Jimenez. He's just Oscar. After that goal he conceded, he's just Oscar. Lost his last name rights after conceding that goal. But yeah, I mean, what can we say about that international friendly? But one thing I do want to highlight, though, and big credit to America, this is the first game played in the States. After the whole pandemic situation, obviously Texas, loosened some of the restrictions. I saw some people with masks. I saw other people that did not have masks. It was up in the air. But look, it's hard to monitor those things, right? It's not like you can have a security guard next to everyone at all times, be like, oh, gotta wear a mask, gotta wear your mask, gotta wear. These things are gonna have to be regulated somehow, some way. And I think as we progress throughout this year, we're gonna see that, because things are starting to open up. Venues here, especially here in the States, I think little by little things are starting to open up. Mexico, that's a whole different situation. We'll have to wait and see how they deal with that. But I mean, huge props and huge kind of round of applause for America for getting this done. From what I've heard, it went off as a hit. It sold out. I mean, it goes to show you the pool that America has, right? Even in the middle of a pandemic. And maybe that is why Santiago Baños was able to afford to fly out most of the team, because he did say that the expenses were just not, plausible for America coming into CCL. And so maybe this is why we were able to travel, because of this friendly game. But all in all, regardless of the match, regardless of the fact that America didn't win, they didn't look their best. I mean, I thought Gio was gonna be sacked after that game. And then he goes on and scores the winning goal against Necaxa. It goes to show you how topsy-turvy this sport really is. But no, just shout out to everyone who went to the stadium, to everyone that was out there, and followed all the safety protocols, went out there, enjoyed their time, was able to finally be back in the atmosphere of a stadium and all that stuff. So, huge props to Aguila. A huge shout out to Primetime Sports, who helped orchestrate all of this as well and organize it. So huge shout out to them as well. They did an amazing job. And, and to Rayados as well for making the flight over here and putting on a pretty good, entertaining matchup for both set of fans. So, again, Huge shout out to both teams, to Prime Time and to Las Águilas del América for putting on a good show, and to everyone that was out there. But yeah, it is definitely not a game that we want to definitely recap or recall, because it was not a good one at all. But let's go back to the Necaxa game, AJ, because I don't want to lose focus or track of what we were on about. Is there one player that stood out to you in this game? Because I don't think, maybe one player did, but that's because of their absence. You know, I think, and people are gonna think this is like, wow, huge for me saying this, but I think Cordoba was very much missed.
Yeah, no, especially after during the international break, and he was out due to a picture that he did post as well of that nasty toe injury that he had where he got stepped on completely. But yeah, I just feel like it's crazy when I hear you, out of all people, say Goyle was the most missed, and you bash on him every single time. You're like, I actually miss him. Why does no one see on their timeline Ivan complaining about Cordova? But yeah, no, I think especially after the way he played in the Olympic qualifiers, he was just playing out of his mind in that tournament. And I feel like if he was playing in this game too, I could have actually seen a different story. But if we're going to just talk about like players that stand out, honestly, there really wasn't any. If anything, I guess you go with Ochoa really with his big time saves. But and mention in the comments as well. Yeah, no, that goal by Richard Sanchez, that had everyone had a sigh of relief for like, okay, we're not gonna go down to Necaxa. Good, because if that was the case, there's huge problems. Everyone just would have been pointing at Solari and the starting 11 that he put out. But all in all, just wish that we could have played better than what we actually saw on that game against Necaxa. Because looking on paper, you're just thinking we should have a problem, because Necaxa, they don't have the best squad and they just are not playing that well. And then they felt like they were just bringing it to us in that first half, which was scary. Second half, that's a completely different story.
Yeah, and look, it's the same narrative that kind of has plagued America this whole season, right? Teams on paper that you should be blowing out of the water, you don't necessarily do so, right? And every opportunity has been presented to you in order to do that. I think you look at America against, the likes of Querétaro, but we were up a man and couldn't capitalize on that. Only one by one goal. Same against, San Luis and all that stuff. Games that where you should be winning by more than one goal margin, you end up not doing so. And so that's I think the most frustrating part about this is that you knew that Necaxa, even though Memo Vasquez got them back to winning ways, it was only one game, And it's like you said, squad for squad, we were the better team. And they had just lost their starting goalkeeper. So the fact that we aren't able to capitalize on these things is the thing that worries me the most, because you had players like Roger out there. Players like Gio, who we just mentioned, players, like Fidalgo, good caliber players that you would expect could have the possibility of capitalizing on these kinds of stuff, but we don't. And then that's the most frustrating thing about it. I mean, we haven't. I don't think I've seen anyone crucify Roger, but he's not looked any better than he has any other time. I mean, he's just gotten a couple more chances, but he's just missed just as many,
It's just really sad because I feel like I'm one of the few people that does praise him, and whenever he does get that playing time, I really do hope that he scores and does his best. But just some of the opportunities he just doesn't take them, and it feels like at times he can get a bit selfish. But he just does. If he can't score a goal, he does try his best to assist his teammates or get himself involved in the play. But all in all, it's just everyone's just scratching the back of their heads and just like, what does Solari see in Roy, and why does he want to see him? But like you said, I feel like under Solari, he's been different compared to what he was under Piojo, because I know well that him and Piojo, their relationship was not the greatest. But I feel like with Solari, something is different this time. But just wish Roy would just start picking the pace up a bit. He wants to secure a move to Europe. Solari's got to put him in there to show the scouts and everyone why they want Royer in the first place. But just, I don't know. I just hope like in these last couple of games, especially in the CONCACAF Champions League, maybe he can make himself a name in that tournament and do something.
Definitely, and look, I think this is the kind of peculiar thing about it. It's the opposite of spectrum when it comes to Roger. I think it's like it's a very much divided view of him. It's on one end, Roger is a lost cause. Can't wait for Cristo Gonzalez to replace him. By the way, Christian's not here, but if he was, he would have an update on this rumor. I know that he's keeping track of all of this. So unfortunately, he's not here at the moment. I'll tell you guys a little bit later why he's not here. But yes. And then we have, the likes of Jacob who say, for me, Roger played good. He was trying to create chances. So I think it's really the kind of, lenses that you're looking at Roger in, whether you're trying to look at it with, the perspective of the glass half empty or the glass half full situation. And with Roger, I think that many of us are still viewing this as a glass half empty situation. I know at least I am. I'm with Chris on this one. I think that he just, and I mean, I can see what Jacob is trying to say as well with the fact that he's saying, he was trying to create chances, but I don't think he did anything more than maybe Gio or Linus did too, And so that's for me the most frustrating thing about it is that Roger, again, kind of just teases us with 1, 2, 3 good performances, and then we're left kind of in the dust saying, well, we thought he was going to change. And again, like the toxic boyfriend that he is, he just does not change at all. When are we going to learn, America? When are we going to learn? But I do want to highlight one thing. I think that the continuation of that midfield that we continue to have, that Fidalgo, Pedro, and Richard midfield. I mean, it wasn't the most blossoming game for them, but it was more minutes under their belts together. And I think that's gonna spell good for America coming into the postseason for the Liguilla, and then of course for future seasons to come. And fingers crossed that this is gonna be hopefully a prelude of better things to come for America in the midfield department. But anything else you want to kind of highlight, AJ? I mean, Aguilera also had a terrible game in my eyes as well.
Yeah, no. I just wonder what with the arrivals of Benedetti and Bruno Valdez that back in the squad. I'm just wondering, who's going to be swapping out, especially in defense, because you're looking at your center backs, Cáceres and Emma, who's going to be the one that's going to take the seat on the bench and allow Bruno Valdez to start playing again. And me, which I would like to ask everyone, who you think will get replaced in that center back partnership? Is it going to be Emmanuel Aguilera or Sebastián Cáceres? For me, I'd say I'd take Sebastián Cáceres out and Bruno Valdez goes in his place.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, AJ. That's honestly what it's looking like. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But look, I whenever Benedetti came onto the pitch, and look, I'm trying to put it right here. Now, Jacob Lewis, now that Benedetti's back, I hope he doesn't get injured again. Look, whenever he stepped out on that pitch, I was like, please, no one touch him. No one touch him. No one foul him, because that's going to be the end of his career. I cannot have that anymore at this team. Me and you coincide in this, AJ. I think his time at America is done, and I think that we need to offload him in the summer.
I say he's the Colombian Jeremy Menez, but I got a lot of heat from that last time. So I stop from there. Won't say anything else.
Because look, obviously with the talent and everything that he's presented, I mean, if he wasn't so injury prone, then this comment would make a lot more of a thrill and excitement in me. Can you imagine Benedetti and Fidalgo playing together? Oof, what excitement, right? Yes, I agree. Maybe in FIFA, but maybe not so much in real life, because I feel like Benedetti at any moment is just gonna break on us, right? And it's just like, how much duct tape can we actually put on him before we just call it quits?
I mean, he's never had these kind of injuries like that back when he played in Colombia. But I blame Gibber for all of that.
Yeah,
put the blame on Gibber.
Put the blame on Gibber. Hashtag Gibber. Stay out is what we're gonna be tweeting now, because we don't want him anywhere near our club anymore. But yeah, I mean, overall, there's not really much to take away from this game. I mean, granted, there is, and we could sit here maybe analyze it for another hour or so. But I mean, I think we'd just be repeating ourselves over and over again. Look, overall, it's a good victory in the sense that we continue to win, and how 6 games in a row that we've won. If you can get me that stat, please. But overall, it's a confidence boost for the team, right? I mean, you don't have your best game, yet you're still able to walk away with 3 points at home. It's a promising outcome.
6 matches in a row, and sadly, we would have been 11-1-1 if it wasn't for the dumb Atlas mistake. Just imagine, and we would have been in first place actually, as well.
Yep, we would have. By the way, we are both American Cruz Azul are steamrolling past the competition.
Yeah, there's like a 9-point difference. That's crazy. With third and second, 9-point difference, and with 4 games remaining, that's gonna be tough. I feel like confidently we already secured a spot.
We secured our spot in the playoffs.
I want to see them. I want to see them push the first though. I think they can give Cruz Azul a run.
This match coming up in 2 weeks is going to be an interesting one, and I can't wait to preview that one because obviously we got to get through Tigres first, and I think that's going to be a real good test for America. But you have to go guns blazing against Cruz Azul, and I mean the true test of wits is going to be in that one, and so I'm excited to see how that one pays off. So, but look, that's in the future, and at the end of the day, I think the most important thing to kind of take away from this is the fact that America again wins, continues that winning streak, and maybe a little bit of worry as to why some of these players aren't continuing to perform, but still enough is enough to get us past the door. I mean, this game kind of just explains itself. If you look at the score sheet and say America 2-1 against Necaxa, and Giovanni Dos Santos was the winning goal off a header, like that should tell you everything about this game. Yeah, that should tell you everything about this game, honestly. But I mean, it was an interesting one, no doubt. Again, still a lot of improvement to be made from America, but it's not to say that we're in a bad situation also. So we'll keep it going. We'll keep the Solari train going, and hopefully see where this train ultimately ends at the end of the season. But things again promising, very, very promising. AJ, anything else to add on before we wrap up this?
No, that's it.
Alrighty then. Okay, well, we're gonna move on into CCL Champions League fever here, but before so, I do want to mention Chris Rivera saying David Medrano reported that Frankfurt is interested in Santiago Naveda. They said that they've been following him since his youth and are monitoring his contract negotiation with America. AJ, quick thoughts on this?
Pretty interesting because the last Mexican that Frankfurt has had was, I'm pretty sure it's Marco Fabian and Carlos Salcedo. And it'd be interesting to see someone like Santiago Naveda go into the squad. And I feel like he has the qualities that Frankfurt are definitely looking for, especially the way Frankfurt have been playing in the Bundesliga. Having someone like Naveda could definitely be a boost to the team and continues the traditions of Mexican players playing in the Bundesliga and playing in Frankfurt. I'm pretty excited. As well with the contract negotiation, I think it's because Santi Naveda's contract, I think is about to expire soon, so I think they could try to get him on a free. So that's something that America going to need to figure out, see whether or not they want to send Naveda over to Europe or they make him stay for another season at Coapa.
I say make him stay. Look, I like the kid. I think he's got loads of potential, great talent. He's not ready for that jump just yet. If I think he needs to break into the first team first, and then work his way from there. I'm not saying that keep him here for another 6-7 years. No, I'm saying he could easily be out within the next 2 years into Europe, right? That's no problem. But I think he still needs a little bit more madurez within the club, and I think it do him good to kind of stay here and not make that jump just yet. But again, who am I to say these? I'm not a professional player, obviously. And so we'll have to wait and see. But the most interesting about this is the contract negotiation. America cannot lose out on this, especially with the situation that we are already financially. You are not at a disposal to let one of your most promising young players go on a free to Europe without even getting anything in return. And so America really, really needs to find a situation, tie him down on a long-term contract, and then say, look, we're only doing this because we need to get something out of you. We're not going to halt you. We're not going to say that you're not going to be able to go. If they come in and they give us a good offer for you, then you're more than welcome to go. Just like every other player has left, if the price value that they offered was right. I mean, you're looking at Mateus Uribe, you're looking at Edson, you're looking at Marchet. All of these players left, with the exception of Guido, because the European team came in and presented a good amount of money. So we'll have to wait and see. But that is an interesting thing to kind of keep note, and we'll see if whether or not this is smoke or this actually has some traction to it within the next coming weeks. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I did know that was kind of breaking news for today as well. So, anything else that you've heard, AJ, that you want to bring up? Or I know Christian's usually the one in charge of this.
That Cristiano Gonzalez rumor, I've been hearing about him. I just have to quickly just search him, look at his stats, and you know what? Hey, I'll take this guy. Welcome. At this point, me as a Barcelona fan, I'm kind of just like I don't want any Real Madrid player in America. And then after Solari came and with the Italians, bro, I was like, open arms, welcome, because he's done well at Castilla. He had 72 games played with 32 goals scoring. He's currently playing over at Italy with Udinese. He's only just playing with the Primavera, which is their youth squad. He did play one game in the Coppa Italia, but I don't know. I would appreciate him if he would just join the club. And he also did play at Real Madrid for 4 games and actually did manage to nab himself a goal. So that's perfect. If those rumors are true, he does make his way to Copa, then welcome. We swapped Gil for Royer for go to Udinese. He wants to go to Europe. He wants to go to Europe, and the rumor was before Bologna won him, and that's a team in Italy. If Udinese are struggling, hey, take Royer. He's good. Trust me. When he wants to be. When he wants to be.
And he wants to be in Europe, so maybe he'll ball out over there.
Hey, so a 23-year-old for someone that's that kind of almost arrived. 27. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Royer, we call him El Tanque. He is a tank, but sometimes that tank kind of runs out of fuel when we really don't need it to. So,
yep, leaves us stranded there. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Christian will keep us up to date with this. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Eagle Eye Podcast. We'll have you guys up to date with all the rumors and everything going on in regards to that department. Yes, AJ.
One more thing. There's it's like at this point, Solari's gonna turn into this team into the Real Madrid B squad. At this point, he's just gonna take out every player we have in the first squad, and he's like, all right, I'm replacing them with the youth players I work with.
Hey, if it works, it works, If we're lifting up title after title, who am I to complain?
But I'll take it.
I definitely would as well. But that pretty much wraps it up. We're going to talk a little bit about CCL right now in just a little bit. We're going to preview that game against Olympia. But before so, I do want to remind everyone that today's episode is brought to you by Foot Cult. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys check out footcall.com and get 10% off for everything that you guys like on your order using the discount code EEP at checkout. Again, that is the discount code EEP at checkout to use at footcult.com. Get 10% off there. And again, our co-host Christian is not here today because he is at Foot Cult. He's at Foot Cult headquarters right now. He is mocking something up that we're going to drop very, very soon. We've all had a little bit of work in this. He's going down there and to kind of just finalize everything. And so I hope you guys like what is coming up. And if Christian is listening to this, Christian, we miss you. But take your time because we don't miss you that much. That pretty much wraps it up for that. Thank you again, Foot Cult, for sponsoring today's episode. Alrighty then. Before we go, we need the Bet the House shirt. Yes. We definitely do, and he is definitely working on that. I can promise you guys, we've submitted that request, and we're gonna get that going for you guys. Okay, do not worry, do not panic. All right, AJ, Champions League is back.
Finally, the true Champions League that I've been waiting for, the CONCACAF Champions League. I only will care about the other Champions League if Arsenal's in there, but that's gonna be quite some time until my team gets in there again. So in the meantime, I'm looking forward to Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League. Finally.
Definitely not. Yeah, and that your children's children will never see even Arsenal play in the Champions League. So but yeah, you're right. No, it's true. Everyone's gonna keep their eye on the true Champions League match tomorrow. None of this Bayern PSG nonsense. No, sir. The big headline for tomorrow is Olimpia versus Nuestras Águilas del América. That's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. You guys can catch that game on Univision Deportes, aka 2DN. And yeah, AJ, look, I'm excited because Champions League is back. This is a competition that, the board maybe doesn't see it as a priority. But for me, it's a definitely fun tournament. We get to see a lot of these players that maybe don't get full minutes with Las Águilas del América get some. Obviously, Chucho Lopez is a huge player that you're looking forward to. Will he be the Cristiano Ronaldo of this competition?
I hope so. Get that. Get the bag. Go to Elche, or who knows, to some first division team in Spain, becomes the Guaman Cristiano Ronaldo. Wonderful.
We'll have to wait and see. But look, this game's obviously it's kind of written in the stars as America goes down. We're gonna struggle a little bit, but then we're gonna come to the Azteca and we're gonna completely, take over this game. That is how it usually goes in these type of games. But I think I want a stamp of authority from America from the get-go. I think I want them to come into this game, dominate as much as they can. It's not an easy matchup because you have to go down to Honduras, right? It's not easy, but I mean, I saw you grinning and I saw right here. I read that Oscar Jimenez is starting though. And we'll talk about starting 11s. And I was not surprised. I always expected Oscar to play the first couple of matches. But your thoughts on Champions League, AJ?
Very excited. I love watching this tournament. I had plenty of good memories watching this tournament. I remember 2014, 2015 when we did La Remontada against Herediano back at the Azteca. That was one of the best moments I ever witnessed in CONCACAF Champions League. And that's what made me love Benedetto so much. And everyone always had to criticize my boy. But it's just amazing. I just love what this tournament brings. We get to see the best teams in CONCACAF face off against each other, and I love it. And sometimes the underdogs, they can always come out on top at the end of the day. We've seen plenty of upsets. We see the Giants of Costa Rica take down some of the Giants in MLS. And some teams from, whether it be in Jamaica, Honduras, Guatemala, whatever, it feels like they're always coming into this match with the goal to defeat their opponents. They don't care who it is. And that's what I like. Every team is going out there in this tournament with 110% energy. They want to win that trophy, and they want to show that they're representing their leagues, and they also want to take the trophy at the end of the day and secure their book into the Club World Cup, which is every team's biggest dream, to represent their region, their nation in the Club World Cup.
Definitely, AJ, and I think you're right. I think those teams have the most to gain and the most little to lose, and so that's why they're going out there with everything. Interesting thing to see Chris saying these Central America teams are known for hitting all game long, so I hope we come out with no injuries. And I think we're all kind of, if this was under Piojo, yes, I think we'd all be nervous to play this game because we'd be like, just send the youngsters out there because we can't afford to lose any important player. But I think that we might be fine in this case. I don't expect a lot of starters to play in this one, AJ, and I think me and you went back and forth a little bit off camera as to who we thought was going to play. I know you had your starting 11, and I'll say mine, and then you'll bounce off of that and see where you want to make adjustments on that. But for me, obviously, Oscar Jimenez in net, I think that's already confirmed. We're going to have Brian Colula out on the right, give George Sanchez a bit of a break. I think in the center back partnership, we talked about this and we debated very heavily about this, you and me, AJ, as to who might potentially get to start here. But I don't think Bruno Valdez is ready to get on the pitch. And with a team like this going out there and hitting everyone every 2 minutes, I don't think you want to risk Bruno just yet like that. So I think the center back partnership is going to be Jordan Silva and your boy, Paulo Maldini himself, Ramon Juarez, and then, of course, at the left back spot, we're going to put Escobosa. And then in the midfield, I think we're going to play with that diamond that we've been playing. Well, not diamond, triangle in that midfield. I think we're going to have Santi Naveda, and we're going to have Richard Sanchez. I think that he might get to start. And then, of course, up top in that cam position, Alvaro Fidalgo. On the left-hand side, I think we're going to have Mauro Lainez or Chucho Lopez, but I do think it might be Lainez. On the right-hand side, we're going to see Leo Suarez or Nicolas Benedetti, whoever is more fit. And then up top, we're going to have Federico Viñas. AJ, what does that sound like to you, or what changes would you make?
I think you said Mario Lanez by start. I think I actually have Royer on that left hand side, and I had slot Sergio Lopez in the center mid role. I got Pedro Aquino going in to get some minutes against Olympia. Right hand side, who did you have on that right hand side?
I had either Benedetti or Leo Suarez.
I got Leo Suarez on that part, and then I just had Gio and Venus. But I think overall our lineups are actually pretty similar. Actually, no, I did actually have Bruno Valdez starting instead of Ramon Juarez, just for Bruno to get some minutes, because if anything, he can always get subbed out at the second half and put in for Ramon Juarez. But yeah, it's an unorthodox lineup. Really, it's like you mentioned, you're not gonna see plenty of stars in this game because we're trying to save them for the upcoming match, because we do have these this Saturday. So we don't want to put in our best players into this game. Not to say that we're underestimating Olympia, but it's just, I feel like let's give some of these bench players some game time, see what they can do against the Giants of Honduras.
Definitely. All right. Well, we got a couple comments here. It says Chris saying, I can see Chucho Lopez on the right hand in that lineup instead of Richard on the midfield. Jacob going with the same thought of mine as you, saying, I think Roger instead of Mauro to give him a little bit of a break. Chris sees Roger starting out on the right hand side, which potentially could be a possibility. And then, of course, if Roger can't perform against Honduras team, well, then
it's over.
Who can he perform? And then, of course, our good co-host Christian saying, "Damn, this show needs me. We do need you, but we need you out in the foot called headquarters. So shush, mush away." And we got Chris saying, Christian, virtual hugs for everyone right now, as this is our new segment brought to you by Coca-Cola. It is virtual hugs. We virtual hug everyone in the virtual chat right now. So virtual hugs to all of you.
Coca-Cola sounds good right now.
It does. It sounds very good. Very refreshing. But look, at the end of the day, I think whatever we put out there on the pitch should essentially get all 3 points. This is not a team that we're going to underestimate by any means necessary. But let's be honest, the talent gap is a little bit, visible. And so I think that America needs to go out there, like I mentioned, have a stamp of authority, take the game to them. Don't kind of just do what every other big team does and it's just like, all right, we'll hold off. Then we'll get them on the counter. We might score a goal. And if we do, we're just going to freaking park the bus and then hope that we walk away with the victory. No, I think you got to go out there and you got to just continuously attack. Don't give them any breathing space. And if you can potentially close out the game with like a 2-0 victory against them, you're going in at the Estadio Azteca and you're a little bit more relieved and you're saying, okay, now I can definitely save all my starters for the game against Cruz Azul, right? So this is a big one because you have to not think about this as just 1 week out. I mean, 1 game ahead, but a whole week out in regards to your biggest rival is going to be Cruz Azul, right? And you need to have everyone preserved and ready to go for that game. And so you just can't have any slip-ups this upcoming game against Olympia, so that next week you can line up under 23 players for all I care. At the end of the day, go out there and do your thing.
I just wanted to see the best out of this team in the first leg. Yes, it's only the first leg of 2-game series against Olympia, but I want these games to play with heart, like they mentioned before. Supposedly, we're not trying to care much about this tournament. I say Solari and the players see it different otherwise, because I don't know what Baños is saying completely. We're the Giants of CONCACAF. We need to continue winning CONCACAF to just show to everyone in the CONCACAF region and the Liga MX that we're the biggest team in Mexico, and that we're the biggest team in the tournament, and we're one of the biggest teams in CONCACAF. And that needs to be said. And this game, that's the starting point for America. Start out against Olympia, and then from there on out, just continue cruising through the tournament. See, whoever plays against us, we're playing with heart. We're playing 100% in this tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing you have to take away from this, AJ, is that these teams got to go out there and play with that heart, that determination. Hopefully, go out there and have that stamp of authority saying, "Look, we're the biggest team in CONCACAF," and because of that, we're here to take not just the victory, but a little bit of that pride. So going into this, Alex Juarez saying, "Sup guys, America needs to win this game. Olimpia es equipo chico," and I mean he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Shout out to my dad.
shout out to AJ's dad for saying that. Again, not wrong. I do think that he merits some credibility right there, because I think he's right. Like mentioned, biggest team in CONCACAF, gotta go out there and stamp that authority. And then Chris saying, "Do we bet the house tomorrow?"
Yes,
AJ,
we're betting the house. Even
we're
Christian
betting
can
the
agree.
house. All right. Well, Christian said, "I don't know about the house. I gotta see the lineup." But you know what? AJ is literally ready to bet the house. I was ready to bet the toilet, but you know what? We're betting the house again now. But Christian saying his starting lineup is gonna be Oscar Jimenez in goal, Brian Colula, Ramon, Bruno, Escobosa, have Santi, Chucho, and Gio, with Benedetti, his boyfriend, Viñas, and Roger out on the wing. So, I mean, I have a little bit something different. You have a little bit something different. He has something a bit different, but you can see where most of these players overlap each other, right? So we're going to be at least 75% correct on this. No doubt about that.
I'd hope so. I just hope at the end of this match that Chucho Lopez scores a goal, and I'm buying that jersey in a heartbeat. That's all I'm waiting for. If Giovanni Dos Santos can score a late game winner, Solari can literally do anything at this point. He might as well make Brian Colula the next best right back in the entire league.
But shout out to Brian Colula, who's I think his birthday's either today or yesterday. Just saw that because I had to go look up a graphic and he popped up there. I was like, "Oh, it's his birthday."
Yeah, it's actually his birthday today.
All right, Brian Colula. Well, you're playing tomorrow, so happy birthday, man. Go out there, score a goal, and show Olimpia who's boss.
No doubt about it.
Interesting stuff right there going on with that. But look, it's pretty hard to really kind of preview this game without really kind of taking into consideration the fact that America most likely will use a B team, a little bit of the C. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see. But I think we're all pretty confident coming into this game, right? I mean, America should walk away with the victory.
Yeah, I'd say so. But just looking at the Saints, how Olympia are playing in their group, in their league, they're on top right now. They have 7 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss with 22 points. And the one play that does stand out that I am actually worried about really is Jerry Bankston. If people remember him correctly, that was the guy who actually wore a mask in the game. I think it was in the CONCACAF League, if I'm not mistaken. He actually even mentioned that in every game of the season, I think from last season, until now, he's been wearing that mask. He's just showing for people that wear the mask. It's proved to be useful against fighting against COVID. And he's got a point right there. No doubt about it. But back into the point of just stats. Yeah, this man, he's just a goal scorer for Olympia. Last time checking Wikipedia, 89 games played and 49 goals scored. I think that's really like the only person I'm truly worried about. I do have a friend who is a huge Olympia fan. But I cannot ask him any questions about how this team is going. But if I'm only worried about one guy, I don't think I have to worry about anyone else. So I'd say we're confident going into this match.
Definitely. Alrighty then. Well, I'm gonna ask for your scoreline prediction. AJ, what are you going with for tomorrow's match?
I got a 2-0 win for America.
2-0 win for America. I'm going with, I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic. AJ, I'm going 3-0. I think we take it all the way to the bank on that one. So I'm going 3-0 on that one. And let us know in the comment section, guys. What do you guys predict for the game tomorrow, Olimpia versus America? Jacob going a little bit of a smaller result, but still saying America is going to win this 1-0. That's a clean sheet. That's all I care about. Christian going as adventurous as I am, going with a 3-0 victory. I like it. I like it very much so. And then Chris saying 2-0. Roger and Viñas score. And I think if that happens, it's definitely going to rain, AJ. But yeah.
How are we not betting the house at this point? With this kind of result that Christian's playing, how are you not betting the house? I mean, I think he's building one right now, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's why he doesn't want to bet it yet, because he ain't trying to lose all that hard work he's been doing. So it's understandable, actually.
AJ's that going with a 3-1 victory for America. But overall, I think we're all expecting America to walk away with the 3 points, and then anything. Excuse me, not 3 points, the victory. Anything else besides that, we'll see what happens. But Jacob saying I changed my mind, 3-0, betting the house, and at least AJ, you won't be alone in that aspect.
Good. Mention if this is the old CONCACAF form where you said 3 points, then yeah, this would be 3 points. But I think CONCACAF removed that at the time because they just realized any Mexican team or any American team that gets into the groups, they're already winning at this point. So I guess that's why they removed that entire form. They're like, we're just going straight into going straight to eliminations. So I get
Definitely. Chris saying we're betting cousins, not houses. We're betting cousins. So if you have a cousin out there, make sure you let them know that you are putting them on the line for this game. And if not, they're gonna be one very, very upset cousin that they are now being shipped over to Honduras. After saying that, I feel like that maybe was not the proper wording, but hey, it is what it is, I guess, on that aspect. But okay. America versus Olympia. Olympia versus America. That game again, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. That is going to be live over on To The NA. We're going to keep you guys up to date minute by minute with everything going on. And should be an exciting one as well. But with that said, AJ, anything else to add on in regards to Champions League? The real Champions League. None of that, European, knockoff.
None really. Just really looking forward to seeing America play in the CONCACAF Champions League again. I got to see some CONCACAF Champions League games myself, and they were pretty fun. Marathon drawing against Portland, Atlanta, losing Brad Guzan, and actually the Villarreal away. So there's that, and Cruzur right now playing against Arche. So I might probably catch this game after the podcast is over.
Definitely. The only thing I would want this Champions League to do is to get more of an iconic kind of like intro, like a theme song, right?
Yes.
Rather than that very like upbeat, I don't know what to really categorize it, but hey, if they want me, AJ, Dylan, and Christian are more than available to do some humming and some very loud pitch singing. Will it be great? No, but will it be better than what they have? Probably.
Oh my god, that reminded me of the video where there's guys playing like the recorder and making like the bootleg Champions League theme. I forgot what video it was. Someone put like Mi Querida Liga or something. They were playing that record in the background. We need something like that. Someone's gotta make a version for the CONCACAF just with the record and just playing horribly. We might as well take that. That's why it's our theme.
Yeah, no, definitely. Chris saying both of you prefer Europa like Arsenal and United. hey, man. Can't discredit you. You guys at least stayed in the Champions League. We couldn't, Fair is fair. But all right, AJ, moving on into the next segment, the last segment of today's episode, and that is America versus Tigres. Quote unquote the new Clásico, right? But let's face it, this thing that thing's died ever since it even surged up in as an existence of a possible Clásico. Look, America's never had the easiest time going away to the Volcán, but this is going to be another tough road match for America. But seeing as how we are continuously doing good in regards to the league, and if we can continue that good foot against Olympia coming into this game against Tigres, how do you think the team is looking?
We're looking pretty good. Tigres, ever since they returned from the Club World Cup, it's been pretty tough for them, especially with the schedules and the opponents they have to be facing. Duca, this man's boiler is about to burst just seeing the way his team is playing. And especially now they got to fight. I'm pretty sure this one for a repechaje spot. So they're just hoping for the best. And the last time America did play against Tigres, we won comfortably 3-1, which, as you mentioned, if we can do well against Olympia, then we head into this next game. I feel like we could continue our good streak going against Tigres. But as you mentioned, it's no easy feat to try to beat a team like Tigres, especially with the caliber of the squad that they have, the caliber of players, they're good. It just hasn't been their season, really, I think, since after their time in the Club World Cup.
No, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think I hit a nerve when I said it was a new Clásico. Jacob saying it's nowhere near Clásico. Hashtag Equipo Chico. That's the second time we reference an Equipo Chico on today's episode. But Chris saying, yeah, no, the question of every season is Tigres the new
Oh
Clásico?
my
Of course
god.
not. Whoever, you know, the Mexican media that's trying to paint it this way is just ridiculous. Like they definitely do not have nothing better to do with their time than to try to stir something up when nothing should be
Just
stirred
call
up.
just call every game with America this one or any team the new Clásicos. They play against each other every single season. Diaz, we just call them our rivals. Is it like really where it gets to that classic? I'm like, no, we just seen them so many times in various tournaments, like in CONCACAF Champions League. It's like, okay, we hate this team and they hate us, and it's just a rivalry at this point. Is it a clásico? No, it's just a really intense match, and that's all there is to it.
Definitely. Jacob saying, I can already imagine Tuca Ferretti throwing his crutches. I could definitely see that at the ref. He's just chucking them out there like it's
It'd be fight night if it was Piojo. I remember back then when every time it was Toluca versus America when they had Hernan Cristante. Remember when Hernan Cristante put his hands right? I'm like, oh my.
Oh my goodness. No, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Christian coming with a very good question here. I think the better question is there more hype nerves against Tigres than against Chivas? Personally for me, no. I don't come into this game nervous. I don't come into this game thinking like, I am a little bit more hyped, more nervous for the Clásico Nacional than I am against Tigres. Obviously, you have to give credit to Tigres for being the team that they have been for the past decade, but I've never sat there and thought, wow, here we go, Tigres. Don't really know how this might come. I always fare our chances very well against them. And I think for the first time in a long time, this is the first time Tigres are coming into this one in a very much poor form that we're just kind of thinking like, it's just another game in the season.
Yeah, no, they've only had one win in their last 5 games, and it's been just pretty tough for them. Their last game in the league, they just happened to just beat Querétaro, really, and that was in the 89th minute, scored by Diego Reyes. But this game, I'm not that nervous. If anything, it's just gonna be a hard-fought match. We're going to the Volcan. It's an away match. America, knowing how it is when it comes to away games, it's tough. It's never gonna be a walk in a park. Away games, they take a toll. They take a toll on the players physically and mentally, especially with the amount of away games that we've been having. So it's gonna be tough. Like we're pretty much having to go to Honduras, and we're gonna come back to Mexico, but it's gonna be away from our stadium. So there's that. But
yeah, and I was gonna mention that it's back to back away games in a huge quick turnaround. You have Wednesday night, and then you have to come back to Mexico City, and then travel to Nuevo León, most likely on Friday. So I mean, it's just such a quick turnaround.
I just can't wait. I just can't wait for it though. I want to see if we could potentially make a repeat like last season because Córdoba, he was just having the game of his life against Tigres when he scored 2 goals. I'll be looking to see that, and considering how Córdoba was in the Olympic qualifiers, this man has 4 goals. He was just unstoppable. He was just some other player, and I think at this point, I'm not surprised that when he had a shirt underneath that says "Ivan, are you happy?" Just have a shirt just for you. It's like, are you happy? Are you seeing me, father?
I would love that. I honestly would love that. Shout out to Brian who photoshopped my face on Cordova's award and say he won the. I can't remember the exact name for it, but if you guys seen it on Twitter, but huge shout out to Brian for making that. And then we'll have to wait and see. But I think the Tigres game is going to be a difficult one only because the fact that this away kind of games have always been difficult, and like I mentioned, the Volcan is never an easy place to go. AJ.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Volcan, especially when there is fans, very very intense stadium. You just have the fans just yelling at their oppositions, and especially when Tigres are playing at their home stadium, they feel they could stop anyone. But this season could be completely different, but I'm just excited just to watch this game. All in all, our last couple of games of the season, they're gonna be pretty tough because right after Tigres, we're gonna play at home against Olimpia, but then we're gonna have Cruz Azul. That's another clásico of the season, and then we finish the season off as well with another clásico. So it's gonna be pretty exciting to see how Solari can handle this and not complain like a certain manager where he's like wondering to why the league gave us back to back clásicos. But hey. What do I know?
That is true, AJ. That is very true. But look, I mean, you coming into this one, it's hard to really preview it because, well, we don't, a lot hinges on the game against Olympia. But the one thing we can say is that I think Solari's mentality for this game is going to be just like any other one, right? Try to take the game to the opponent, not really sit back, try to dominate as much ball possession as you can, and really have a fluidity with your movement, not just your passing, but your movement as well. If we can have Henry back by then, I think that's going to be detrimental. Not to say that Viñas or Roger can't do the job up there. Cordova is instrumental, though. I would hope that he's ready to go. He did travel with the team today to Honduras. Makes me wonder that he might be ready to see some minutes, but I wouldn't risk him for any reason whatsoever, and I'd save him for Tigres. And so we might see Cordova return against Tigres, which I think is, again, detrimental. I think him and Fidalgo are starting to understand themselves on another level, and I think it's going to be an interesting thing to kind of keep an eye out for. But look, I'm not even going to give a predicting lineup here because it's just it's really up in the air at this point. It can all be something. But what I will say is that I think America's going to go out there, dominate as much as they can. And look, if you can pin Tigres back and you can disrupt their play, it's not to say that they have much of it. They're the definition of long ball United sometimes. And so we already kind of understand what the Stuka ball is going to be, right? It's going to be, they're going to try to be as aggressive as they can. If they get a goal, then they're going to sit back and they're trying to defend that with their lives. I think if America goes and scores the first goal, the floodgates could potentially open. I don't know how you see it, AJ.
Yeah, Stuka ball, everyone knows how it is being played. But at the same time, I just want to underestimate just because, like I mentioned, the quality of players that Tigres does have, they're good. But as mentioned before, they've just been having a really tough season ever since after the Club World Cup. It's just been a tough time for them. Who knows? Maybe Tigres can wake up against America and just say, we're going to stop Solari's on win streak. Or Solari's just going to say, this is just another team, and we're just going to keep doing what America does best. And that's taking the game to their opposition and get those 3 points.
And let's hope so, right? Because I think that's what we want to see from America is for the latter part of that statement that you just made. Go into Tigres, dominate, stamp of authority, and continue it moving. Because again, this is a good setup for what's coming into the next week after that, which is the Cruz Azul game. And like you mentioned, Tigres, whilst they are in the situation that they are, they have caliber players. They, your G-Nax, your other players that are not J-Nax that I can't remember right now for some reason. But Tigres has players that can go and hurt you. And so, don't take your foot off the gas pedal. Continue cruising the way you have. And look, like I mentioned, it's going to be a good test for a lot of these players. And hopefully they step up to the moment because, like I mentioned, the real test is definitely coming on against Cruz Azul, and we'll see how that one ends up going about. But I think it should be an interesting game, AJ.
Yeah, no. Your other kind of players, Brian's favorite player is Chaka Rodriguez. Who knows? Maybe he comes to scoring a goal and just says to him, "I'm trying."
I can only imagine what Brian felt when hearing that right now.
He just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to hear it. I'm just waiting the day that Chaka goes to the World Cup with us again. He ends up scoring a goal. At that point, I'm just saying to him,
and lifts us the World Cup trophy. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that?
That would be the day. I mean, the day he probably gets himself a Chaka Rodriguez jersey. He's like, I was wrong the entire time. I was wrong.
We're gonna get Brian on the podcast, and we're gonna make a bet. I'm gonna be like, Brian, if Chaka Rodriguez scores the winning goal in the World Cup for Mexico, you need to tattoo his face on any part of your body. And let's see if he's willing to take that bet.
I could already hear him just saying, see me in my office after what you just said. See me in my office.
Shout out to Brian if he's listening. But going back to this whole America Tigres game, look, it's going to be an interesting one. We're going to have you guys covered for everything again. Make sure you guys follow us over on all our social media platforms. This is a game where I believe Christian has you guys covered for it. So, shout out to Christian. He's going to keep you guys up to date minute by minute. And then I got that Cruz Azul game coming up next week too. So this is going to be a good one, fun one, and an entertaining one. But alrighty then. AJ, anything else to add on before we wrap it all up?
No, that's just about it.
All right, definitely. Look, at the same time, we just want to apologize again for that last week kind of blunder. Again, that was on me. I was in Oakland. Oh, by the way, huge shout out to everyone who reached out to me when they saw that I was in Oakland and wanted to hang out. Look, if it was up to me, I would have gone out with all of you guys that reached out to me via Instagram. Unfortunately, work just didn't give me the time. I was getting out of the office like almost around 8 p.m. And I was knackered. I was tired and I was just ready to hit the haystack. But a huge shout out to everyone. I know AP Junior, you were one of the persons who reached out to me. Thank you so much. Our good friends from over at L3 Podcast, they reached out to me as well. So again, thank you to every single one of you guys who did reach out to me. If I am ever again in Oakland, I will promise to make better timing for us all to get together. And if I am ever around there, make sure you guys hit me up. Again, I was just really much amazed and blessed to be able to receive those invitations from all of you guys, and you guys truly are the best for reaching out. And so thank you again for all of that, and I do hope that we can all meet each other very, very soon, after all this is over, and we can all go out and for tacos, and first round's on me, because I hate leaving you guys like that. But yeah, alrighty then, AJ. I think that pretty much wraps it up for today's episode. We'll be back later on this week, potentially Friday or Thursday. Most likely Friday was what me and AJ were talking about. We'll talk about all things #Lady Aguilas. Fuera Cuellar worked, and Cuellar is actually out. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Especially after that game against Chivas. I was just saying, there's no way this man can stay at this club anymore. And then when I saw the announcement, and then even at the Zoom press conference, he's just like, yeah, I just handed my resignation letter. There'll be no questions asked. I thank the club for everything they've done, but more about that on Friday.
We're very excited to talk about this. And look at that. Who'd ever thought we were so happy to talk about a defeat about America Femenil? But yeah, you guys do not want to miss. Yeah, no, you guys do not want to miss any second of it. So make sure you guys tune in on Friday, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, look, it's going to be a good one. So you guys do not want to miss that. But to all of you guys who are out here today, thank you so much. Do not believe the lies that Christian tells you. I do pay for the first round of drinks when I do say it's on me. So do not believe this man. He, what did he say? We need you to show this, Christian. Oh, see? Jacob's saying he doesn't believe you. So there you go. Look. El que invita paga. There you go. So, like I said, it's on me. So don't worry about that, guys. Again, thank you to every single one of you guys who were out here today. AJ, thank you so much for taking the time out, my man. I know that you were busy, getting those games going. So again, to all of you guys out there, Jacob, AP Junior, Chris, Christian, I know, who was unfortunately here. AJ's dad, Alex Juarez, everyone, every single one of you guys, and every single one of you guys listening on Spotify, iCloud. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys again next week to talk all things Las Águilas del América. We have more Champions League to talk about, and we have the big one coming up next week: Cruz Azul versus América. America versus Cruz Azul, whichever way you want to spin it. It's going to be a good one. All right, then you guys take care. Be safe out there. Please wear masks. And if you guys can, go get the vaccine. It hurts, but I promise you it's worth it. I'm kidding. It doesn't hurt. All righty, then. You guys have a wonderful time. See you guys until next time. Take care. And as always, Arriba la América. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage. And subscribe to our podcast wherever it is